大家好，欢迎收听我们今天又一期的早安英文，我是卡拉。
And it's me again, finally back, Joseph.
It's been a long time. How are you these days?
Doing good. Glad to be back in Changsha.
这是好久不见的烈火老师啊。
Hello, welcome to Morning English. 早安英文呢是一个为大家免费提供英语教学的频道，每天都会更新。如果你想获得关于英语听说读写的内容，我们都会在这个频道更新。我们的目标是帮助全球的华人学好英语。如果你觉得还不错的话，记得给我们订阅哦。另外，点开小铃铛，这样的话就不会错过其他任何学习视频啦。对了，如果你想获取本节课的完整版笔记，在视频简介或者评论区领取哦。你也可以给这个视频点赞，点赞就相当于自动保存啦。
So what's the topic for today?
Okay, so today we're going to look at the thing that my students always ask about, idioms. Tell me more and more of these idioms.
Every day we express ourselves with idioms. So idioms related to?
I guess we can start with a foot.
Foot? 首先我们注意一下这个发音 Is it foot or foot?
Foot kind of sounds like hungry.
对对对，是个短乌音啊，所以不要发成 foot， 是 foot。那今天教给大家一些和脚有关的俚语。
So we know that an idiom is an expression whose words alone don't mean what the actual idiom means. And what that means is the words themselves and the actual meaning of the idiom is completely different.
对，但是呢也不会毫无关系，就是通常可以根据这个本意引申出来。比如说 the first one we're gonna talk about today is cold feet， 就是冷的或者说冰凉的双脚。So, you know, when your feet are extremely cold, you are not really moving.
Right, so when we talk about having cold feet, what we want to talk about is that someone hasn't been able to make a decision, or maybe they're very hesitant about making the decision, and so they kind of just stay in one place and they want to run away but not go forward.
Right, so it's like to get scared. You're about to do something, you've been planning it, you know it's coming and you want to do it, but then at the last minute, you get scared. You want to back away. 那么中文呢，我们可以翻译成叫做临阵畏缩，或者说事到临头了却打退堂鼓。
Right, so one example I can think of is if you would say, oh, I have a toothache and, you know, I'm not really excited about going to the dentist.
Yeah, but you should go to see a dentist. You need to get your teeth fixed.
Right, I know, but every time I start and, you know, I want to call the dentist and I think about it, the idea of that drill going off and right away, cold feet.
就 drill 是牙医手上那个可怕的钻头，每次一想到那个玩意儿呢，我就要打退堂鼓了。So anyway, it's not good to have cold feet, but in English, it seems to be a good thing to get your feet wet.
Right, when you get your feet wet, you get your first experience of something, so you can start to learn something.
所以就是什么意思呢？把你的脚尝试伸到水里面去，把脚弄湿，就好像我们中文当中说试试水。所以呢，它的意思就是讲通过实践去做某事，或者说开始学习什么事情了。
So, for example, learning English. I know most of you guys are afraid to embarrass yourselves by trying to speak English when you think maybe you're not so good at it, but that's the best way to learn. So when you meet an American or an English person or any person that can speak English, try a few words, jump in, get your feet wet.
对，就是可能道理大家都懂，但是呢，真正去做还是需要勇气，要勇敢地跨出这一步啊。我们说学习语言最重要的是要去实践，要说出来，要尝试交流。所以呢，你要逮着一切机会说英文 ，to jump in and get your feet wet.
Alrighty, the next one that we're talking about is to put your foot in your mouth.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to literally put your foot in your mouth, and in this idiom, it also is not a good idea to put your foot in your mouth because it means you accidentally say something inappropriate, and you know, saying something you shouldn't have can be a little bit embarrassing.
对，就是你无意当中说了一些什么不合适的话，就说错了话 ，especially something that embarrasses someone else， 就是通常呢这种话还会伤到别人。
Right, so a way we can use this phrase is something like, oh my god, I just put my foot in my mouth. I was on the bus and I asked the woman when was her baby due, but she wasn't pregnant.
这个事情呢，我身边的确是有人遇到过啊，就体型比较丰满的一个年轻朋友，在公交车上被让座，因为被误认为是 孕妇了。所以如果你犯了这样的错误，甚至呢你还开口去问了人家说 When is your baby due？ 你宝宝的预产期是什么时候啊？那么这个时候呢，你就可以说是 put foot in your mouth 了。
So you could say, I really put my foot in my mouth when I said to Mary last time because I asked her how her husband was doing and I'd forgotten that they divorced 6 months earlier.
Okay, now the last one. 最后一个呢，它不是真的含有 foot 这个词，但是也是和 foot 有关的 shoe 鞋子。That is to wait for the other shoe to drop. 等待另外一只鞋子掉下来。So I remember there's a story behind it, right? 就说什么楼下这个人每天都听到楼上的人拖2只鞋丢在地上，砰砰2声，觉得非常的烦人。但是呢，有一天他只听到了1声丢鞋子的声音，然后他就一直在等另外一只鞋子掉下来的声音。So I guess you know the story better than me.
Well, I heard that the story comes from New York City, but I'm not sure because, I never did research. It's just what I've heard. But in the late 1800s and early 1900s, when everyone was living in large buildings, these apartments were so crammed with families and other people that were not very, warm. They were poorly insulated. So when your neighbors would come home, above you, you can hear everything they did, including when someone would walk in, take off their shoes from returning to work.
OK, 果然九老师比我清楚多了啊。据说是19世纪末20世纪初纽约城，当时呢人们都住在那种非常拥挤的隔音效果非常差的那种出租屋里面，所以呢你楼上这个邻居每天下班回家之后，你几乎可以听到他所有的一举一动，甚至是拖鞋的声音。
So now if you are used to hearing 2 shoes drop every day when someone comes home from work and they come home one day and you only hear 1 shoe come off, you're in your apartment waiting underneath listening for the other shoe to drop.
所以说鞋子砰的一声丢在地上这事儿本来是烦人的，但是呢你都已经习惯了，每天砰砰2声，结果他只丢了1只，那这个时候呢你就等着另一只鞋掉落的声音。 So what does this idiom actually mean?
It would just mean waiting for the next or especially the final thing to happen, especially in a not good situation, something kind of bad.
就等待着下一个事件，通常是那种难题，等待着它发生。可以怎么用呢？比如说有的时候你觉得自己真的很背时，就倒霉的事情一件接一件，你就很崩溃，就很破罐子破摔。For example, you get up a little bit late on a weekday morning and you need to get to work on time, and then you found out you locked your keys in your car. You have a flat tire, you think you have bad luck, so you could say, oh my gosh, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Right. Depressed people can even feel sad about good events because they always seem to be waiting for the other shoe to drop.
对。
They're trapped in some kind of loop or spiral of depression.
对。
Yeah.
这个就是讲患有抑郁症的人呢，即使是面对好的事情也会有不好的感受，所以呢因为他们潜意识里面总是在 waiting for the other shoe to drop， 就是在想着下一件不好的事情什么时候会发生在我身上呢。好的，感谢大家收听我们今天的节目。
Hello, welcome to Morning English. 早安英文呢是一个为大家免费提供英语教学的频道，每天都会更新。如果你想获得关于英语听说读写的内容，我们都会在这个频道更新。我们的目标是帮助全球的华人学好英语。如果你觉得还不错的话，记得给我们订阅哦。另外，点开小铃铛，这样的话就不会错过其他任何学习视频啦。对了，如果你想获取本节课的完整版笔记，在视频简介或者评论区领取哦。你也可以给这个视频点赞，点赞就相当于自动保存啦。
So I'm very glad that I was able to be back, and I'm happy to get started again, and I hope that this idea of idioms by using feet wasn't too bad for you guys. I guess we'll see you next time.
我是卡拉
And I'm Joseph.
我们下期见吧，拜拜。
Bye.